This episode is powered by Choircast, the podcast network that saw my torch get snuffed and said, nope, not today. They're the reason that we're still in the game, telling stories about other survivors that surprise a little harder than a blindside. So if you like your podcast spicy, unpredictable, and just a little bit messy, well, thank Choircast. They gave us the flint and we set the jungle on fire. Hello, Survivor fans. Welcome back to Beyond the Torch. We are here with another amazing story. You guys are going to absolutely be so excited about today. I know I am. I'm like giddy because Ethan, I don't know if you realize this, but your season, Survivor Africa, was when I decided to start auditioning for Survivor. So Ethan Zohn, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
The icon, the legend himself, Ethan Zohn.
Oh my God, stop. But thank you. More, even more. Tell me more.
And he's humble. I love it. Well, yeah, I mean, to be honest, like when your show aired, I thought this is horrible. It was right around 9/11. Remember? It was such an intense season of all of our lives, I think. And then seeing you guys like drink blood and like have lions like outside of your camp and like everybody was dying. I was like, this is the craziest, stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But then at the finale, Lil Jeff asked all of you, would you do it again? And all of you, do you remember this? All of you said you'd do it again in a heartbeat. And I went, why?
Right.
Why would they put themselves through that? You know what I mean? So, wow. So excited to have you.
So we got home from Survivor, and then the next, I think I want to say it was around August, and then it was supposed to premiere right around September 11th, and they actually canceled the premiere of Survivor. They delayed it to sometime in October, and that's why Survivor Africa is the first and only Survivor season to be in 2 years. So it started, in 2001, and it finished in January 2002. So there's a little fun fact for all you folks out there.
Fun fact.
I completely forgot about that.
World, right?
That was just such an insane season.
I was in 10th grade when Survivor Africa premiered. I know, crazy, but I was a die-hard Survivor fan, and it was the first season where I invited 2 people to my house because I didn't have friends in high school, and I invited 2 strangers to my house to come and make friends to watch Survivor Africa. And it's the beginning of what like grew into this huge Survivor club in high school. So it's a huge moment of my life too. I'll never forget watching the premiere down in my like little basement in the this tiny little TV. It was pretty incredible. So this is super exciting for me to have you here too. I had a Survivor Africa poster on my wall, and I got to meet Lex.
Yes.
And he signed it, and I was just like, "That's not great." It was crazy. It was fun.
I just took down my Survivor China poster too, so I'd show it to you, but just took it down. It's in storage now.
Shoot.
Dang, I am in such good company. 2 of my favorite winners, all in one little place, and I get you all to myself. I'm so excited. But we always start off, Ethan, this is so fun. The fans are my favorite. I love them. They're so intense. They're so into it. They love this show. They love us. They love them. So, I mean, like everybody makes these little groups and things. And so we do a segment to celebrate these fans. And it's called, it's called The Fans Have Spoken. Yeah, Fans of the Fans. It's called The Fans Have Spoken. We're giving them a voice. And so today I'm actually going to read something that I heard from a guy named Noah. Okay. And so here's what he said, and then we'll kind of talk about it. It's kind of cute. All right. He said, I was 4, literally 4, when Sonia's torch got snuffed on a Wednesday night in my neighbor's basement for a watch party. For years growing up, I'd find any bowl or bucket and vote my parents off the island in front of their friends. After dozens of seasons, this love grew into playing online and in-person games across the U.S., meeting hundreds, if not thousands, of fellow fans through Survivor Pin and Teeny Chill before Survivor 47 and other live games. My only pet peeve about Survivor is despite 50 seasons deep now, not a damn person from West Virginia ever on the show, and they keep not casting me. Jeff Probst, please let me be the first.
Is that the truth?
Not the truth. I told him.
Tom was from Saltville, Virginia. I don't know.
I was from West Virginia.
Oh,
I was from I was born there. So I was like, no, I'm actually from West Virginia. They actually,
I didn't even know that.
I didn't live there when I was on the show. I was from South Carolina then, but I was born and raised in West Virginia.
Right.
That's where I went
And
to college.
no offense to the
No, no, no.
person who wrote in, but back then it was probably Thursday nights. It wasn't Wednesday nights,
It
but
I thought
probably
the same
was.
thing,
because
Ethan.
it was
But
Survivor
he was
versus
4.
Friends,
How
like
could he
that was
know?
prime time, right? So that was what it's all about. So I don't know if I trust this kid, but he seems really nice, you
It's
know?
great. Jeff, if you're
That's amazing.
watching, hopefully you are. Jeff, if you're watching, look for Sean. Is that his name? Did I just
Noah.
Noah, look for Noah. Look for
Nice.
Noah. He's from West Virginia, so I know he'll be entertaining. Yeah, that's great. I love hearing from the fans. But how cute. 4 years old.
I know.
Guys, that'll
That's
age us
And
quick,
I think
won't
it's
it?
been interesting. I know there's been this revival, I would say.
Mhm.
You know, obviously
yes.
we've all talked about it for years now, but during the pandemic, lucky new viewers got to watch season 1 through season 40 all in the one shot. And I'm always like jealous of those folks that one got introduced to Survivor now, right? How cool would it be able to watch Survivor for the first time now and then get to watch all of them from start to finish and see the progression of the game from what it was,
Yes.
what it is.
Yeah.
It is a
Really
wild
nice.
thought because they're all the pandemic viewers. You're right. And it was on Hulu and Netflix and stuff like that. And people got sucked in. I remember it was like an overnight thing almost. I
Yeah,
had new fans reaching
yeah,
out and I was like,
exactly.
what's going on?
Well,
Yeah.
the first
Um,
time what year was Survivor China? What years were your shot Survivors? I think
2007.
7.
7.
And yeah, I mean, well, 2001, 2, there really wasn't much social media around. I think we had MySpace and some
Yeah.
chat rooms and stuff, but like going back on the season in season 40 was an awakening for me in a good way because all of a sudden, you know, we used to have to go places to meet the fans and to interact with the fans. And now all of a sudden they're just right there on your computer interacting with them. So it changed the way uh it would change the way to be on Survivor as a contestant because the fans were so accessible now all of a sudden, which is great.
Well, and that actually is a great thing I want to ask you about, Ethan, because you were on a very early season.
Yes.
And then you were on a pretty late season.
Uh,
Like, what was the biggest, I guess, difference in doing it in those seasons? Because social media is so different now than even when we
Absolutely.
were on. I mean, we only had MySpace, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Well, one, I was a lot older, so that changed it a little bit. But the speed, you know, I've spoken about this before, and I think the current players do. And I'm curious and excited to see about this upcoming season 50 and what those old schoolers feel like in this new game. Because at season 40, we still had the 39-day game.
Yes.
It was a little bit less intense in terms of advantages and you know, clues and idols and all that stuff. However, I'm excited to see this 26-day game with season 50 players from the old school era. It was really fast for me. The game was just it moved at a faster pace. You know, there's more options, ways to get through the game without actually having to do anything in terms of like these idols and the clues and ways to get back in the game and to leave tribal council. So fire tokens, all this stuff was just new. And so some of us didn't really know how to use those to our advantage in that moment, like me. However, I think it was fun, but I didn't really feel like I got to play. You know,
Yeah.
I started off on day 9, and then we went to the edge of extinction. And the edge of extinction was kind of like old school Survivor. You know, there was very little food, no shelter, not that much to do, a lot of social interaction, one challenge every, you know, so odd days that didn't really even necessarily mean anything. So I don't know. I don't really feel like I got a good taste of what the new era game is like.
Mm.
Super interesting. Okay. So let's rewind. I
Yeah.
want to know how you auditioned, how you heard
Yeah.
about it, what like for Africa, what
Yeah.
made you want to play the game in the first place?
Well, I was in between life choices, also known as unemployed. I told my mom, but so I was playing professional soccer. My career was winding down, and I got cut from multiple different soccer teams. And so I moved to New York City. I got a job in advertising. And then literally 2 weeks before I was supposed to walk in to start my job, and like I had turned in my cleats and sweatpants for like suits and real shoes and belts and stuff. And then all of a sudden they said, there's a hiring freeze. You can't come in. And I'm like, what? So me and my roommate were bored. And I'm like, what do you want to do today? He's like, well, I can make a video for Survivor. I'm like, all right. And so there may or may not have been some alcohol involved, but we ran around New York City all day and just filmed this video for Survivor. And I was supposed to make a video for my buddy, and my buddy was supposed to make a video for me. but we ran out of time for my buddy. And so we just sent in my video. And so
No.
all worked out. I took care of him. But that was the story. And so I was literally bored, nothing to do, up all night, making a video on 2 VCRs on VHS tape.
Wow. Oh yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So do you remember getting the call? Like, who was it that called you?
I think Lynn Spillman was
Lynn Spillman?
one of the women that got their hands on me. Yeah. But back in the day, I got a call. I was on the other line with my buddy Steve DiPietro. And I'm like, dude, someone from Survivor said they're calling on the other line. Like, I'll call you back. And then I went back and I thought it was a joke. I thought someone was fucking with me.
We always do that. Yeah.
You know, and then and it was real. And I'm like, oh my God. So then it was a phone interview. I think another phone interview, then an in-person live interview in New York City in a hotel room, like with cameras and everything. And then I think after that was the LA portion, but I'm not sure. But a lot of different interviews. I want to say 3 before I actually went over to LA.
It was very similar for our seasons. I think they stopped doing as many like after 20.
Okay.
But before, because I went to semifinals in Miami. I went to like the phone interviews. I did all that as well.
Yeah.
Did you, Leslie, have semifinals?
No, they did.
She was a
mostly
lock.
phone
They're just like,
calls.
you're in. We
They
don't
were
need
like,
a
you're
phone
locked.
interview.
I mean, I'm so memorable, right? No, I'm just kidding. No, no, but I do remember them a lot of phone calls, a lot of phone calls. And then I just went straight to LA and I was there for I think 10 days.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah, and before I left, they gave me shots. Like I had like 6 of them. Remember, Todd? It was ridiculous. And I couldn't even like put my arms down because my arms were like out like this.
Did they tell you made the show or they just gave you the shots?
They said we're 98% sure.
Okay.
They would not.
They told me 97%.
Oh, I was a shoe-in. Look at
We're a
that.
shoe-in. They were like, you're 97% sure. I was like, oh, great. Thanks.
Yeah. It's like, what do you do with that?
crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do the casting, you find out you're on this show. What was your initial like reaction to seeing everybody and being thrown out there?
I was freaking pumped, like, they flew everyone to Los Angeles. And so our first time seeing people, but you couldn't talk to them, I think was in a room in LA airport before we were actually getting on the planes. And back then, we all had our own seat next to a chaperone. Not everyone was on the same flight. And then they split up the guys and the girls. And we were traveling, I think 2 sets of guy groups and 2 sets of girl groups traveling on. I didn't even know where we were going. I didn't know we were going until Africa, until they gave us our connection flight in Amsterdam.
What? You had no idea?
No idea. No idea.
Oh my
No idea.
gosh.
And then I'm like, oh, Nairobi, we're going to Kenya. All right, that's cool. Yeah.
I would have been like, where's Nairobi? I wouldn't have known.
Yeah, so it was a big mystery. We had no idea.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, you play a beautiful game and you win $1 million and you become this icon / legend of Survivor. And I'm not just saying that because you're here. It is the truth.
It is
so
and really, really hot.
Lots of legends of the show.
There are a lot of legends, but you are definitely an icon. So
I was lucky to get in early. I was lucky. First to market, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's pretty cool.
I mean, we can rewind a little bit. I mean, you're talking about the fans. The fans, I don't know if have shifted. Like there's the fan or the fans that are coming out to events seems it's just a different group of folks than from way back in the old school Survivor. And I think what's incredible about the show is I feel the show like represents what's going on in the world, and then what's going on in the world is represented in the players on the season, and then that represented in the fans that are showing up at the events now. So, when I feel like casting back in the day, obviously was, there was, I would say there's more kind of like jockey kind of, I don't know. I just feel like the casting was it was less diverse, I guess, obviously, because of what's happening. Yeah. And so there was a homogenous type of casting on Survivor for many years.
100% agree.
And now it's incredible because it's shifted and it's incredibly diverse. And you see that in the fan base, which is awesome. And I
Mhm.
love it because then you see the fans and they're the ones that are ending up on the show. Some of these fans were fans of the show for 20 years and now they're actually playing the game. And so
I
you
love
see them
that.
when they're out there, they're all jazzed, they're excited to see Jeff. They can't believe they're there. I just feel like that wasn't part of it back then. Like
It's true.
Yeah,
I
it's true.
didn't grow up with the show. There's kids that are on the show now that only know a world where Survivor exists.
Isn't that
That's the
weird?
crazy thing to
If you're
think.
born in
That's so weird.
after 1999, you only know a world where there is a Survivor.
That's
I,
insane to me. Blows
it
my
is absolutely insane because I was 15 when season 1 came out. So I started off as a super fan. I think the first super fan technically was like Rob Sesternino. And
Yeah.
there was only 5 seasons to be a super fan of before he played, you know.
true, yeah.
And then it was Brian Cordigan in
Yeah.
Guatemala. And then it was me. I think that was pretty much the super fans in the early seasons were the 3 of us who, and Leslie was a super fan too, but like the die-hard super fans were not something until really the new era. Cochran was a super fan though too. So yeah, it's really interesting that now we have like 7 super fans per season, you know, and they
I feel
all
like they're
fail.
all super fans. I feel
Yeah,
like
they
It's
are.
true. It's
Most of
true.
them. There's very few people who get on Survivor now, like Courtney, who was like, "What's
Yeah.
Survivor? I don't know what's happening. What am I doing?"
I think it'd be interesting. Like imagine putting someone on the show that has never seen the show, but aren't a super fan. You know, sometimes when you play like if you're playing poker or blackjack against something that really doesn't know how to play, they could come on and they'd be like, they'd have no clue what they're doing. They're just doing it, but they do incredibly well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like what happens if you put someone on the show Survivor now that really doesn't know how to play
I
or
want to
what's
see
going
it.
on? Like maybe they'll do
I
well.
I want to see it. I want it to happen. I don't want a whole bunch of recruits or anything, but I would love that. Someone who's never really watched has no idea. It'd be so much fun because you see it all happen live, you know,
Yeah.
like in real time. The shock factor of being
Right.
out there starving. That's that's crazy.
I know. Well, okay, so Ethan, you were going in, you guys hadn't talked yet. Were you making eyes with anyone? Was there somebody you were like, "Ooh, I really like this person," or "Ooh, I don't want to be on that person's tribe"?
You know, I can't say I was or was. When we got to Kenya, I remember like the pre-camp, you know, the pre whatever. We were all in, you know, tents and
Yeah.
like directly across me, I think was Lindsay Richter, remember? So I was making
Yep.
eyes with Lindsay. She was a hot blonde back then.
Yeah.
And then like, I don't know, I want to say it was Lex. I was looking at Lex, but I was a pretty shy guy back then. And I mean, the one thing I remember about casting is Dr. Richard Levesque. I don't know if you remember that dude, who you take all the personality tests and the psychological tests, and then you walk in and you talk to the therapist and the shrink, and they just like, they know exactly who you are, what's wrong with you, why you're there, why you're
Why you'll be entertaining.
exactly. And he said, literally, you are the exact opposite of anyone we've really cast before. So if they want someone like you on the show, you got the job. But so like, you know, I'm not necessarily the A-type personality. You know, I don't like to stand up and bark orders. You know, I'm like I don't know, I'm an assistant coach type of guy. That's my role. And I feel comfortable in that role. And they knew that, you know, like they said, you know, I was a little bit of an introvert. I was empathetic, you know, I wasn't like, didn't like be the center of attention. And that's what they said was my personality. And I think I was an experiment for them as much as it was an experiment for myself.
I
I
love
wonder if
that.
that might have helped your game just because it was so almost like disarming to be around somebody who you're like, wait, I kind of like this guy. You were so likable. I just
Yes.
remember, I even remember saying to my husband, man, I really like this guy, but there's no way he can win because nice guys don't win. You know what I mean? Like I was like, they're gonna eat him for dinner,
Yeah.
but they didn't. Like it was crazy. Why do you think that is, Ethan? What happened?
Well, I was lucky to have a great alliance with Lex and Tom, and I just feel like they were in the moment, almost like now the term is the meat shield. Back
Yeah,
then, they were just a little bit more
aggressive, probably.
aggressive in front of everyone's eyes. Like Lex, definitely people loved Lex and they didn't love Lex. And
Mm,
so I felt some folks were coming to me to talk about Lex. Lex was coming to me to talk about some of the other players. And so I was able to like filter that information a little bit, use it to my advantage in the right times. But a strategy that I went into Survivor with was like, it gets back to not being the most confident guy in the world back then. Like I really worked on real, loyal, personal relationships with everyone out there. Or I tried to
I
make
love that.
a real
Social
connection with
game.
someone. And my social game was my game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
I think you brought the like outwit, outplay, outlast for the first time in Survivor together. You brought all three together, and that was super important. The social game was what is the only thing I had. Like I was not the physical threat. I was, I was that. I went out there and I was like, I know where I fit in, and if I don't focus on just making these relationships, then I have no hope.
Yeah.
So, and you were like the first example of really making that happen.
Yeah. I guess, it's easy to talk about yourself after 20 years. It was funny because I when I went back on season 40, I actually went back and watched Survivor Africa and Allstars for the first time since they actually aired live on TV.
Oh, wow.
Because I wanted to see what I was like back then, how people may or may not remember me from back then, so I could use that going into season 40. And it's just funny because you build up certain moments in your mind that were like huge out there. Then you watch it again, and you're like,
Oh,
like, oh,
that was
he won that challenge. Like in my mind, I blew it up like I was the freaking champ out there. Everything I did was incredible. I go back, I'm like, oh, okay. I barely made it through that challenge, or that person really did hate me. I thought they loved me. So it was interesting to watch yourself back again. I don't know if you guys have ever done it, but
it's cringy.
I
challenge.
have watched it back. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I watched it back when I was first dating my husband now. But we watched it together, and I was like, "Oh my! Like how? What? Why would I say that? Why did I do that? I was like, how do people want me around? Yeah, so I get it.
Yeah. Well, okay,
you're
Ethan.
still with the dude, so like it didn't, it didn't make it out of the room,
Ethan, when you went on the show, so let's think of Ethan pre-Survivor.
Yeah.
How did it change you when you came back home? What did you learn about yourself and about other people?
That's a big question. What did I learn about myself? Well, I learned that I understood myself a little bit more, because I don't know about you guys, but like going into the show, I'm like, I'm gonna do everything I can do to win. I'm gonna be an evil, backstabby, slimy little guy. I'm gonna do whatever I can to get ahead in the game and win. And then I get out there, and like that was exact opposite. I just couldn't do it. It just wasn't who I was. So, so like, I feel that the game forces you to look inside. Like once you take away food, you take away water, and you're tired, you're hungry, you're thirsty, your true person comes out.
Yes.
The inside, right?
You can't fight that.
Absolutely.
You can't fight that. And people say, oh, unless you're the best actor, actress in the world, you really can't hide from the camera, especially when you take the people that don't like come back and they're like, oh, they edited me to look like a bitch. I'm like, well, you really are a bitch.
Yeah.
You've never seen yourself on TV before. That's the problem, right?
You just don't like what you see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think, I had a good understanding going into it of kind of who I was as a person, but I just think it defined it a little bit more, and it just made me more aware of who I was in a good way. Like the better you know yourself and how other people respond to you, the better you can function in this world. I truly believe in it. And I think that's really the biggest lesson it taught me is how to communicate with other people.
Yeah. It's like
Absolutely.
a crash course in self-awareness.
Yes.
And I'm shocked in today's world when you see these new era players who have seen the show for 20 years go out there and they're still doing and saying things that have never resonated well on an island ever.
Never.
50 seasons.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it goes back to like what you just said, is you can be the best actor you think that you possibly are, but once you're out there and you don't have that food and you don't have and you're just struggling, the real you comes out. And so like, if you're a bitch, you're a bitch. If you're a really emotional person, those emotions are going to come out times 10.
Yeah.
And there is nothing you can do to keep that back.
No.
Again, there are lessons to be learned from watching Survivor of what not to
But
do.
did you guys learn lessons about yourself? Leslie?
Oh, yeah. I learned a lot.
That's my
Yeah.
cat. I don't know if you can hear my cat yet.
Oh, I hear your cat.
Oh,
I love it. I was like,
yeah.
oh, is that a child or a cat?
It's a cat.
Yeah, I think what I learned about myself is that I just saw that I was kind of sheltered when I went there. I came from my Christian bubble, and then like hearing their stories, seeing it was the first time I'd really talked to people who were quote outsiders from my religion. And it really opened my mind and my heart to see life from a completely different. I mean, this show, I'm not even kidding. Like I am a completely different person because of Survivor. That's where it started. It took a while for me to get to this place, but yeah, I mean, it just showed me. Yeah, I was very
Where do you
naive.
think you'd be without Survivor?
I don't know. That's a great question, but I have a feeling I'd be right where I was because
Really?
I wouldn't know any different until you're like pulled out of a familiar environment that feels safe and comfortable. And I mean, it's almost like, guys, and this is going to sound really foo-foo, but like I feel like in a way that I was in a womb, and Survivor made the contractions start, and then I was slowly was born into this new reality, and I'm like, holy crap, it's so beautiful. Like I thought I was safe and comfortable and happy and everything was perfect. And then I was like, there's colors in the world, and look at that. That's a tree, and look at that. That's the sky is blue. What the heck? It has just completely changed my perspective.
Wow.
I
That's
think
great.
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Like for me, I grew up in Utah. It's very, Mormon, not diverse. That's pretty much it, right? That's Utah. And so to be out there and meet all these different people from different walks of life was a really eye-opening experience for me. But I think more than anything, it taught me not to be afraid to try things that make me uncomfortable.
Mm.
And because I am not an outdoor person, I'm not an athletic person, but I was like, you know what? I want to go on this adventure. I want to play this game. And so ever since then, I've had this like kind of self motto of like, try anything in the world twice because you may have hated it the first time. If you try it again and you still hate it, you don't have to do it again, but you might like it,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to me, it's just kind of made me be more open to new people, new places, new things, and just give everybody a shot because you don't know who you're going to meet. I mean, I met Leslie and girl Courtney from our season who I never would have been drawn to in the first place, but now they're some of the closest people in my life.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it's all because I gave them a chance to get to know me and I got to know them.
Yeah.
And that's one of the greatest things about Survivor to me is, the Survivor family is really incredible. I mean, it's huge now. There's over 700 people in this Survivor family, and it's continuing to grow every single day. So it's been a wild ride, but it's been an incredible ride that I will never take for granted.
Yeah, the Survivor family's been incredible. All the contestants. I mean, I didn't realize it until I went through this health challenge, and everyone just came out and were super supportive from top to bottom. All the execs to all the fans to all the my fellow contestants. So like, you don't realize that until you're a recipient of the love of Survivor from the outside world, and so that's just been such an incredible community.
Do you mind if we talk about that a little bit? Like I know you had cancer and that you went through this a lot. I mean, I was so scared for you. I didn't know you personally at the time, but I've gotten to know you since and I'm very thankful. But I just remember maybe like praying for you so hard because it just devastated me. For one thing, you were young and you had your life and I was like, what is happening? What do you remember when that happened? Was that before or after Allstars?
It was after Allstars.
After, okay. Do you remember what that like how you found
Oh, I
out?
remember all of it. This is something you never forget. So it was 2009 is when I was diagnosed. So Survivor All-Star, Survivor Africa 2002, Survivor All-Star 2004, and then I got sick in 2009. So there's a little bit of a gap there. However, Survivor's hugely still popular. They were still casting new seasons. So like, you're still known as a public figure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a kind of a sick take on American pop culture, but I've never been so famous in the quotes as I was when I got sick, which, everyone wanted to be, they had the first picture of I had big curly hair back then, and they wanted the picture of me bald with chemo and gloves. And, they wanted me on the walker, and they were camping outside my apartment and in front of Memorial Sloan Kettering. And so being in a situation like cancer in a public, environment was incredibly challenging in addition to going through cancer. So that in that moment, that's kind of why I had to just take control of my own narrative and my own story. Jeff loves storytelling, but back then, like I had to go public with my story, and I needed to make that choice because everyone else was telling the story for me. So it was an incredibly horrible time in my life. Obviously, on the flip side, it turned into something incredibly beautiful. However, it was a struggle. You know, I was diagnosed with a rare form of blood cancer called CD20 positive Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Wow, that's a lot.
Blood Cancer Awareness Month right now, which is exciting. We are in
That was
September.
exciting.
So yeah, so I was riding random, rare form of blood cancer. Went through chemo, radiation, which both failed. Then I went through an autologous stem cell transplant, which is where you use your own body's stem cell to try to heal yourself. And that failed after 20 months. I did get to go play Amazing Race in between my sicknesses. But when I returned home from Amazing Race 19, I relapsed. And so when I relapsed, obviously getting the news that the cancer returned was incredibly deflating, exponentially more difficult than the first time around because I had already been through everything and I was running out of options and I was scared, I was pissed off, and I didn't want to die. And that's kind of when that's when I prayed. That's when I prayed. I prayed for, a silver lining, a ray of hope, a glimmer of light, a freaking miracle. And luckily for me, that miracle happened in the form of a new drug, not even released by the FDA yet. So I got compassionate care. I got early access to an experimental new drug that at the time it didn't even have a name. It was a number, it was SGN-35. And so I took the drug and it got me into remission again. So I could go on to get a second stem cell transplant, this time an allogeneic one, where it means I needed a donor. So I used my brother Lee as the donor. So basically he donated his stem cells to save my life. And now I'm here 13 years later.
Wow. A survivor in so many ways.
Yeah. I do have a question, if I can.
Yeah.
How did you find out that you had this cancer? Like, what were the signs or symptoms? Because it is so rare, right?
Yeah. My symptoms were itchy skin. So I had debilitatingly itchy skin. So I'm in a normal situation. When you get a bug bite, you get a little bite, you itch it, and the itch goes away. Like you satiate the itch. There's no satiation. It was permeating from the inside out with no rash over my entire body. And no matter how much you scratch it, it won't stop being itchy. And got to the point where I couldn't wear clothes, couldn't take a shower. And I was just misdiagnosed all along the path. And until I went to a doctor that figured it out. Really, it's 4 months of wondering what the fuck was going on inside my body.
Yeah.
4 months of it.
Terrifying. I can't imagine.
What year was it that the medicine that you got finally?
That was 2011. 2011, the medicine came out. Now it's called Etcetras. This isn't a plug for a pharma company. But yeah, Etcetras came out and I was on it, which is great. The drug itself doesn't cure you. It just got the cancer into remission.
So that you could
go on to the
next process. Yeah. Wow. And how are you doing now, Ethan?
Doing good. I mean, my hair is a little thinner and gray, but other than that,
you still have a ton of hair.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, you still got a full head right there. Like,
I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. That's all.
Back in Africa, you had enough hair for like 7 people. This is a normal person's amount of hair.
That's my problem. Like, I'm like you guys, I'm out and about, we're doing stuff, and then they're always showing the freaking pictures of me when I'm 27.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, look at myself when I'm 27, and then I go home and I'm like, oh, what is happening? So like, I have this, like, I only see myself as a 27-year-old fit young guy, and then I'm not. And then it's like, and then, you show up at places and they're like,
wait, what?
Oh man, what's going on?
I get it. I was 22. I'm 40 now. And the people are like, oh, you have gray in your beard? I'm like, yeah, I'm a grown man.
Yeah.
I was basically a kid.
Yeah. You were a child.
The one beautiful thing about, the incredible thing about having cancer and being on Survivor was in 2009. So I don't remember a woman by the name of Jen Lyon.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Jen Lyon, she passed away from breast cancer. Beautiful young woman, did pretty well on Palau.
Mhm.
So we were going through cancer at the same time. Like we were both sick at this. She was a little earlier than I was, and then I got sick, and so we were just became best buds. And she passed away, which
Devastating.
devastating,
Yeah.
devastating. And so that's when, I called up Ann O'Grady and CBS. I'm like, hey, let's do something. And at the time, Stand Up to Cancer was this big thing. So I'm like, let's create Survivor Stand Up to Cancer. So Ann O'Grady, Despina Lagakis, Kristen DeVries, like these old school, like CBS
Amazing.
execs, we all came together and created Survivor Stand Up to Cancer. So that's when they started auctioning off the props from Survivor on eBay to raise money for cancer research. And I said this in my final retirement speech on the end of season 40 when I didn't win the play-in challenge. But some of the money that was raised through Survivor Stand Up to Cancer funded the drug that I was just talking about that saved my life.
Oh,
Talk about
That's
I just got
crazy.
chills.
Holy
Okay.
that's
Survivor is
crazy.
so much more than a game, you guys. It is so
Oh my
much more.
God.
This is beautiful.
Yeah, it's
I love
crazy.
that.
Absolutely mind-boggling that, all of you and everyone who donated and supported Survivor and Stand Up to Cancer and bought a prop on eBay, you saved my life. You literally saved my life. Like all that money, it's inside my body. It's swimming around inside my body. Thank you to everyone who's listening.
Wow.
So I have a fan of yours, as a super fan of yours. There was a question that he asked. His name is Atticus. He wanted to know, with, after cancer, you're still going through the health things and dealing with all of that, but then you get called for 40. Was there anything specific or special that you had to do before
Yeah.
going and playing?
So I actually got called for Blood versus Water in
Okay.
2016. But it was literally, I would have returned home from Fiji the night of my rehearsal dinner for my wedding.
Oh,
And God bless my wife. She said, go do it. Because I'm like,
Wow.
I mean, that's one, I'm happy I
who
married
were
her.
you going to take with you?
What, my brother Lee.
Your brother, the one that saved your life?
The brother saved my life. Yeah. Right.
Amazing.
Oh,
So
I wish you would have done that.
that
But
would have
that's
been
okay.
such an
I get it.
incredible story,
Yes,
but
yeah.
I missed the flight or something got delayed. I would have missed my wedding, and that probably
Yeah,
wouldn't have
that's
been a
not
good
good.
thing. And I might mentally, I would have been so fucked up coming back, and that
Yeah.
it just would have been a bad decision. Anyway, so I knew I was kind of on a short list at some time. I watched what was in 2010, Heroes Villains.
Yeah.
I was in my hospital room getting a stem cell transplant and watching all my friends play Survivor on, season Heroes versus Villains. I'm like, and I said it. I'm like, if I get out of this fucking transplant alive, I'm gonna go play Survivor again. It took me a really long time to mentally and physically and spiritually and socially get to a point where I was even capable of competing in a show like Survivor. I was a total mess after cancer.
I can
And it
imagine.
took me a while to kind of get my shit in order before I could present myself to the world again without.
I mean,
So
that's no short, that's a crazy amount of life to deal with at such a young age. I can imagine.
Yeah.
yeah, it was tough.
So, all right. Well, let's talk about this because I think there's probably some real good insight into this. When you played 40,
Yeah.
and Winners at War, when you went back, tell me, like, what did you learn? How did you, because I just remember seeing you were speaking about what was going on and how you were feeling and in your story. And I was a freaking mess, bawling, like sniffling, like snot. It was bad. And I was like, this guy is freaking awesome just to be able to share that.
Incredible.
And you fought so hard and you tried, but what did you learn through that?
Well, I prepared a lot for this season because one, Survivor knew that I had to get like extra medical, like if I were to make it happen. So I knew probably I would say in January, because I had to go through like a month of all just testing with the hospitals before I could even say yes to them. So I knew a little earlier that I was in it, and I was here in New Hampshire in the middle of the winter. So that wasn't a good place. So and my wife and I actually moved to Atlanta so I could be in a warmer weather and be outside, swim, whatever, train, I guess you could
That
say.
was smart.
Survivor's a sport now, right? So you can train for it.
Very smart.
So But I was smart enough to know that no one's going to let the cancer guy get to the end, right? So Rob Mariano, the first thing he said to me, he's like, dude, you know, you're never going to win this thing. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, no one's going to let the cancer guy get to the end. And so I'm like, and that just hit me. And so I told Jeff, do not mention cancer. I don't want anyone to know have cancer. I know everyone did, but I just wanted to remind them. And I needed to create, like, there's going to be, we know there's 19 losers, there's one winner. So the odds of me winning were slim to none. So I needed to create a structure to be able to have a successful experience out there, regardless of winning and losing. So I did. And that's kind of something I learned through cancer, in the sense that, like, there were times where I didn't know what was going to happen with my life. And so you get into these modes where I needed to. So on Survivor, I had a list of goals. I had game goals and I had life goals. So my game goals, blindside, make the jury, win an idol, find something, blah, blah, start a fire. But the good life goals were like, let's make some friends, let's see a sunset, let's, connect with other people, let's enjoy the environment, enjoy Fiji. So no matter what happened in the real game, which clearly it didn't go so well for me, at least I could have a fun, good, successful experience out there with some of these life goals that I wanted to achieve. And that's kind of how I worked my way through Survivor season 40.
I remember that one challenge where your body kind of gave out, and it broke my heart. And I know that had to be hard for you, but I also know you probably expected some of that. Like, how was that?
I did and I didn't. Like, I did because I trained, like I was in shape. But yeah, it just listen, it was 2019, so 13, 6 years post chemo. Like, I don't know. My body just wasn't, body was not what it once was.
I mean,
Well, I can relate to that, just FYI. And, not because of chemo, just getting old.
I was 27 and then I was 46. I'd been through two things of cancer.
I remember watching it and thinking, like, this guy is not stopping.
You didn't
He
stop.
is not giving up. Like, that right there, you can't go through what you went through with cancer and all of that without being a really strong person inside.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh,
proved
mad
it.
props. You're super impressive, like someone to look up to for sure.
Absolutely. Well, and it proves, I think, that the body gives up long before the mind. And if the mind can keep going, you can actually do a whole lot more than you think. So whatever you did to prepare, it worked. I know that was frustrating for you, but I don't know if you realize how inspiring it was to watch.
Super impactful.
Yeah, really powerful. So thank you for that. Thank you for being so, through the years, just being so open about your journey.
I mean, I did feel when it came back on 40, I was a little less. So Survivor Africa, never been on TV before, didn't even want to be on TV. It was a thing. So I felt like I was myself. Survivor Allstars, I definitely was a little bit aware. Like, I was aware of the cameras. I was aware of how other people respond to me, how this might land after the show's over in the public pop culture. And I think it impacted my game a little bit. I wasn't free. I wasn't free to do what I wanted and play the game, the best I could. Granted, they chose 4 winners, which was a silly choice. So we were screwed from the start. The main goal was get the winners out first. That was the strategy. So I was playing an uphill game no matter what. I still felt I did okay, make it, I was the last winner of all the winners to get it out. But then, but I was aware, and I just, I was jaded. I was like, that was like the height of my, whatever it was that Survivor.
It was the peak. It was the peak for sure.
Yeah.
Because it was
You're probably in your head.
huge show right then.
Yeah.
I mean,
it premiered to 50 million people after the Super Bowl.
That's crazy.
Right. And so anyway, and then coming back on 40, I really felt like I didn't give a fuck what people cared about. How I presented myself was just how I was and how I am and what I was feeling. I said it. I felt I was, I just wanted to let people know how I was feeling in the moment. And it was honest and it was truth and it was authentic and I wasn't hiding. And I just felt free to be who I was because I'd been through the worst of the worst. And I did it in a public, everyone saw me in my worst of the worst. And then now when I was out there, it didn't matter. And I had, while I was in the game, I was having so much fun. On the edge of extinction, zero fun. But when I was in the game, it was so much fun. That's purgatory in the South Pacific. That's what they need to call it. And I renamed it. It's the edge of extinction. It's the end of Ethan. That's really
That's tough. Well, I love that. It seems like you can really just see how not just the show, but like the hardships in life kind of present, for the next season of whatever we're going to be facing, and Survivor being such a big part of the thread that weaves through your life, I think is really cool. I mean,
I
you
can't
are
imagine my life without Survivor.
where do you think you'd be if you never went on?
I'd be a soccer coach someplace.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, and speaking of soccer, your grassroots soccer, this has been pretty cool. This is like a child of Survivor, right? It was born.
Yeah, another freaking incredible. Yeah, like I'm so lucky. Like grassroots soccer exists only because of Survivor. That's final tribal council there, Lex. He said, "Hey, Ethan, what's the first selfless thing you're going to do with that money? If I give you my vote for $1 million, Lex, what's the first selfless thing you're going to do with that?" And I said that right on the spot. We haven't eaten in 39 days. You smell like a fucking giraffe, and I said, like, I'm going to use the money to start a charity and kids and soccer inner city. Like, I didn't really know what it was then, but when I came back, I did it. And so me and 3 of my other soccer buddies co-founded Grassroots Soccer. And what started in just 7 schools in Zimbabwe has now blossomed. And then we're in 65 countries and we've graduated 25 million kids from the program.
So what do you guys do? Talk a little bit about what you do in this.
Thank you. Grassroots Soccer is an adolescent health organization that uses the power of soccer to help kids make smarter choices in life. So like we use the world's most popular sport and the heroes and the leaders this sport creates to break down barriers, build trust, and educate young people to adopt healthy behaviors. So we developed, soccer-based games that drive home messages around HIV and AIDS, female reproductive health, mental health, gender norms, sexual violence, malaria in some places. And we just came to the United States. We've been here for the past year. And Leslie, the event that you were so gracious to attend and volunteer and donate your time, that was to, raise awareness for grassroots soccer here in the United States. And now we're just running mental health soccer camps all throughout the US.
That's
incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so cool. I had never been to a soccer game, never watched soccer, didn't know anything about it until 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I went to my very first soccer game.
Yeah.
It was Real Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Here in Utah, and I had so much fun.
Yeah.
I was blown away. I was like, because I expected to just be bored. No, I was fully invested and into it. So, and even my husband Jess, he was like, "Am I a soccer fan?" I was like, "We might be."
Yeah, you should be.
I had a blast.
Perfect time to be a soccer fan because the World Cup, which is the largest soccer sporting event in the world, it's every 4 years. It's happening in the United States next summer. So USA, Mexico, and Canada will be hosting World Cup soccer matches in June to July of next summer. So stay tuned.
Are you so excited?
The last time I was in the US was 1994.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I was a sophomore in college and it was incredible. So I'm so excited it's back. And my charity we're running these mental health soccer camps in the cities that are hosting soccer matches. So
is this your full-time gig now, Ethan?
My full-time gig is grassroots soccer. I got a lot of side hustles like everyone else.
Let's hear it. What are you up to today?
This
hustle. This is a side hustle. You're wearing it. Thank you.
Listen, can I tell you a story about mine? I need a new one. So because I had mine and I spilled paint all over it. So now I actually, because of that, I wear special paint hoodies that I work in because I ruined my clothes. So
Aren't those called a smock?
Basically, yeah. That's what I wear now because I'm just covered in paint and I ruined my old school Survivor shirt.
I'm painting my house right now. Look. Work, hard work here. Look at that.
Look at that.
2 dots.
Like Todd's hands. Well, so
Yeah.
what are your side hustles then besides grassroots soccer, of course?
I got the Crunch Bowl,
That's
I sell
right. Oh my gosh, you
cereals,
invented this.
I got
I don't know
super.
what the
All
Crunch
right.
Bowl is. What is this?
Todd.
I mean, do you have a minute? I can go get one.
Yes, we have all the
Yeah.
time in the world, Ethan. This is your stage.
I
He's
have no
gonna go
idea.
get it. You seriously don't know what this is. He invented
No.
this and he like marketed it a few years back and like started selling it. It's like a cereal bowl that like the milk is on one side and the cereal's on the other so that the cereal doesn't get soggy. And then you
What?
like it's genius. It's hilarious. So I can't wait. He's gonna go grab it. So
How have I never heard of this before?
I don't know, but look, do your
Are
commercial,
you
Ethan.
are you sick and tired of soggy cereal? Well, I'm going to revolutionize the cereal eating experience in one big scoop. I'm going to put the crunch back in brunch. Imagine a swimming pool, right? The swimming pool's got a shallow end and a deep end. Same with the crunch bowl. You keep your cereal up top, you put your milk down below. When you want a little crunch, you just tap it right over the edge. So as you see, everyone, here's your crunch bowl, shallow end, deep end. You got your cereal slide. It's also milk chute. It's got non-slip grip, microwave safe, dishwasher safe. It is righty and it's lefty. It's got a spoon rest. I stack my cereal on the shallow end. I put the milk in the deep end, and then I just use this as like a cereal reserve. But wait,
There's more.
there's more. It's not only good for keeping your cereal safe from flimsy flakes. This is also good for all your snacking needs. Chips, dip, salad, dressing, hummus, carrots, ice cream, apple pie, crackers, chowder, whatever you need. This is the Super Bowl. It's stackable. And not only this,
Amazing.
Todd, but wait,
There's more.
there's more. It's also a cell phone holder snack bowl. So you
No.
Stop.
Netflix and chill with yourself, right? I
Okay.
know you do all the time.
So you can
I
watch
love
Beyond the
that.
Torch. Like
There you go. That's a crunch bowl.
This is very cool.
how did this come to you? Where were you? What happened? And when did you go, I'm gonna invest in this? This is gonna be a thing.
This is a I don't know this has been with me my entire life. I thought of this idea when I was in college, 1995. My soccer team, we won the ECAC championships. We're out partying hard. I get back to my dorm room. I grab a big bowl of cereal, milk, and then I pass out watching Sports Center. I wake up and I'm like, what the fuck? I hate soggy cereal. I'm like, I need to create a cereal bowl that keeps your cereal crunchy all day long. And I did. And that was when I thought of the idea. Didn't do anything about it, obviously. I win Survivor. The first interview I have, they fly me red eye to New York City to go on David Letterman, right? So you're on David
Yes.
Letterman. You fill out a little card before you get on David Letterman. He's like, where you're from, brothers, sisters, hobbies, job. So under hobbies, I put inventor. I hadn't invented anything yet. And so, of course, the only freaking question Letterman asked me is like, oh, we got an invent. What have you invented? So right there on the spot, I said, I have a cereal bowl and like a keep your cereal, and the crowd goes wild. And I'm like, yeah. So then I'm like, I got to get this thing going. And I ended up not getting it going, but other people did. And then I had a small go at it. And in 2009, I was on a show called Pitchmen with Anthony Sullivan and Billy Mays. And we did the Crunch Bowl and we had a prototype. And then Billy Mays passed away from a drug overdose and the bowl was shelved. And then once 40 came along, because I was back on TV and I got a little heat on me and social media was now available and you could do Shopify and sell stuff on Instagram, I'm like, let's make the bowl again. So I ran a Kickstarter, raised the money.
Freaking cool.
I got the bowl.
That's amazing.
I want to
That's
do
a
like
really long
yogurt
answer.
and granola. Because then
Very
you can
great
like
application.
Yogurt and granola. Throw
because
that
I
in your
like my
face.
granola crunchy, and if it's in the yogurt too long, it gets soggy. It's the
Ew.
perfect.
Yeah, you can be my new ambassador.
I like that.
See? Do
I
it.
like that.
Double
The
dog. There
hers,
you go.
hers no soggy. Hers dog no
There
soggy.
you go.
Hers no sog.
I love that because I eat yogurt and granola every day, and it gets soggy, and I stop. So I'm not even just trying to pitch this. I'm like, this is a great idea.
I just changed your life. You're welcome.
You did.
Yeah. Any
Wow.
other side hustles, Ethan, or are we caught up?
No side. I mean, I do, no other side hustles. I've
No
been
other.
doing those little like in real life. It's fun to see what's happening with these in real life Survivor games.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know about you, but I do a lot of public speaking and I've been running Survivor team building events for a decade. and, using the games on Survivor to run team building exercises, pushing your comfort zone, communication, leadership, overcoming challenges, relationship building. I'd been doing it for corporates and teams and church groups and Jewish groups and everything. And now all of a sudden it's popular. And so you see all these games coming up, and which is great. Leslie, we were at that little Survivor tailgate at San Diego FC. And then there's this
So
real
fun.
game in San Diego and in Chicago. And I love it. What do you guys think of it?
They
I
are
love it.
so much fun. I love they're called LRGs, right? Live reality
LRG,
games.
not IRL.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
I
like,
think they're fun.
I think they're super fun. I used to do
played
them
one?
in high school.
Oh
Huh?
yeah. We did some actually. I did a fundraiser in Travelers Rest, South Carolina when I lived there, and we had somebody come and bring a bunch of those games. His name's Russell. He is so sweet. He's not like the Russell from Survivor. He's actually a really great guy. And he brought all these games for free to this fundraiser that I did, and it was so much fun. And I realized I'm actually pretty good at it when I have, nutrition
Right.
and water, and I'm not like dying from a parasite. Yeah, it's great.
I think
Well,
it's amazing.
there's one called, I've played twice. So one of them, so there's a group called Survivor in a Day. They're in Los Angeles, and they were at the tailgate.
Yeah.
But when they were kind of testing everything out, and I played a game with Parvati, Tyson, Suri, Coffee,
Ooh.
Suri's son, me, and we played like a 8-hour game of Survivor, and it was
Damn.
super fun. Like,
Who won?
none of us won. Random.
Oh,
And but it was so fun. Like, I got a little bit of the feel. I got the feel.
Yeah, you get sucked into it.
Tyson, I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna have to vote you out. We're in opposite tribes. Like,
I was on the Survivor cruise this summer, and we had a mini game, and I was the only contestant playing against the fans. And it got down, like, I didn't expect to get into it like I did, but as soon as they said like Survivor's ready, go, I was like in it. And it got down to the final four, and someone came and whispered to me, and they were like, Todd, you do know that you can't actually win. This is 4-7. And I was like, I'm behind. So I had to fail at a puzzle to eliminate myself. But
that's
I got
hard.
sucked
you would have
in.
done the whole thing, man. You would
I
have.
would have. I really would have.
Well, if you want to play, I know some people. Like, they're looking.
Yeah.
Yes. I
So
mean,
I
You
should
should do
say
that. That would be
They
so
always
fun.
have one have like one former contestant that's a captain. So if you want to play, let me know. I'll put you down.
Woohoo. Do it.
I would love that. Yeah. I always said no. I was like, I won't do this again, like, because I don't know. But then I played this one and I had so much fun, and something switched. It was crazy. I was like a rabid animal. I was like, game on, bring it,
Yeah.
So,
And then there's this new Survivor Cafe that just opened up in Boston. So
oh yes.
yep. So that's I'm actually going to the
Who's doing that? Do you know?
no idea. I think someone who's on season 49, her father owns this bar in Boston, and they're just changing it into Survivor Bar or Survivor Cafe for the duration of the season.
That's
Hopefully
so
it
fun.
lasts. I think it's pretty good. They have real games there.
What a great idea.
Is
I can't believe they didn't put it
CBS
earlier.
promoting it? Like, CBS is
Yeah.
actually turning it into a thing, right? So you're going, you said?
Yeah.
That'll be
Fun.
fun. I mean,
sure.
I wish it was close.
I know. That's kind of fun.
Hopefully they do them in a bunch of cities. That'll be really neat.
That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Pretty super cool. Yeah.
Salt Lake
Yeah.
City.
And Todd, if you ever want to go to another Salt Lake game, let me know. My buddy is the head coach, Pablo Mastroianni. So happy to.
Seriously? Yes,
Yeah.
I would
He's
gladly
now
go.
a super fan.
Because I genuinely did not expect to have as much fun as I did.
Yeah.
So I would gladly go again in a heartbeat.
Yeah, whatever. Serious. Anytime you want.
Yeah. Yes.
Ethan, you are
That was
the
fun.
best. This has been the most fun. My cheeks hurt. I feel like I've sprained my
I know,
face
just all
from
smiles.
smiling
All
because this
smiles.
has been so much fun. Thank you for your
Yeah,
time.
I talked too much. I didn't ask you anything about yourselves, but
No,
It's not
this is
about
not
us.
about us.
It's
We
not
already
about
did our
us.
show. Well,
Okay,
if
good.
you watch the first, episode, it's me and Todd talking about our story. So that
Okay.
way we got that out of the way, and now we can focus on.
Now we
everything
get to
else.
learn about you guys.
Great.
But
That's good.
is there anything else that you want to say? Anyone you want to say hi to?
Oh, my mom. Hey, Mom. How's it going? No.
We love the Marlies.
My
We
mom's
do.
not watching this. No, I know, not really. No one need to say hi to, but I appreciate you guys having me on, and I think it's great what you're doing, and I just love I love everything about Survivor. So I'll show up anywhere. I'll say yes to
Love that.
anything. I just think the show's great. I can't be around forever, and it's interesting to think about a world when like 2 times a year I feel like a little bit relevant. The premiere
Yes.
of each season. After that, not so much.
Isn't that
Uh,
weird?
it is weird, but when
It's a
Survivor's not
weird
on, then
thing.
what happens? Then we just melt into oblivion, and we're
It's
not
weird.
We make a podcast and we talk
there
about it.
you go, right, there you go.
It's a weird
Well,
thing.
this has been
Right.
so fun, Ethan. I know you have a
Course.
busy day on the lake. I
Of
know to
course.
go and relax and enjoy your
Gotta go
wife and
practice
your
building fires, fishing
yes.
again, just in you never know.
You never know.
when
It
you
could
can
So
happen.
you would play again?
No.
No, he's done.
I don't think I mean, although I would play that,
Raiders?
16-day game in Australia.
Oh yeah,
Right?
that's
Piece of
peak.
cake, right?
Heck yeah.
Challenge and tribal every
You're
single
eating
day.
constantly.
Jeez.
I'm watching it right now, and I'm like,
I
you're
would
constantly
love
eating.
to play that. I love Australian Survivor. I would totally play Australian Survivor.
If anyone who's listening to this, I don't know how to find the link, but watch the Aussies versus the world. I think it's a throwback to old school Survivor. It's not super complicated in terms of idols and clues and advantages. It's pure Survivor, and they spend so much time. There's no backstory anymore. It doesn't matter. You
Right.
show
No.
up, and you are who you
You
are,
play.
and you play. And
Mhm.
they're showing you the inside these players' brains and how they're making moves and who they're talking to. And tribal
It's
council's
amazing.
really long, and I think we lost some of that in today's game. I mean, this is old school Survivor. It's like what everyone
Yes.
fell in love with, that's led them to where we are today. So what do you think about it, Todd?
Ugh,
I love it. I
so good.
absolutely love it. I think it's, the fact that it was only 16 days, you wouldn't even
You wouldn't know.
realize it was only
Mm-mm.
16 days because these people are playing so hard. Granted, you have some of the best players in the entire
In the world.
out there.
Yeah.
And so it's super entertaining to watch. There, like you said, there's very few little twists and turns, an idol or two, but it is gameplay at its finest. And I love it.
I'm on like episode 4 right now. I know who wins, but I'm on episode 4, and I literally like I cry in the opening credits because it's the old theme song. It's the
Yeah.
one I listened to in my iPod,
Yeah.
when we had iPods,
Yeah.
when I
It's
was
Survivor
training.
All-Stars theme song.
It is so it's like makes me want to cry. I'm like, I remember this. Like, and now everything is just so different now. And it's not that it's bad now. It's good. It's just different.
Yeah,
And it's just
different.
so nice. It feels like I'm back home again watching this.
Yeah.
And I
It is
love
funny
it.
to hear another voice other than Jeff's. Like,
I know
Todd.
he
Yes.
sounds a
Like,
lot like
I've never
Jeff.
watched another season other than American
Oh,
Survivor.
you need to, because Australian Survivor is really
Yeah,
good.
I might go
Yeah.
back and watch some of this.
His
It's
voice
good.
sounds
Tell
like
that
Jeff's
guy or
though.
whoever that guy is.
He's
A lot of
hilarious.
times he's like, come on in. He doesn't say guys, come on in.
All right.
Everything he says, it's the same. And sometimes I have to look up, if I'm looking at my phone or something, I have to look up and be like, is that Jeff? It sounds just like him. It's crazy. But anyway,
I love
yeah, thank you,
Well,
Ethan.
you guys got to come visit and hang out here on the lake.
Oh,
and
seriously,
twist
what
my
is
arm.
Allstars,
Gorgeous.
if you want. There's no rules up here in New Hampshire.
Ooh, I like
Love
that.
Clear day.
And I've never been to New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's one of
Alright.
6 states I'm missing, so I'll check that off.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Definitely. You can come to the Survivor Cafe and then come up here after. Great.
Yeah. That'd be great. Well, thanks, Ethan. You
Thanks,
are the
Ethan.
best. Have an amazing day. Mwah.
too.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ugh, that was so fun.
Yay,
What a
Ethan.
darling. What a darling. Ugh,
I love Ethan. He's such a good guy, man.
yeah.
I've only met him in person once, and I was 22. It was in New York, and it was very briefly, so I don't even know if he would remember. But to me, I was such it's Ethan,
Yeah. I think the first time I met him was at in Florida at a Hearts of Reality event. And I was like, he's exactly what I thought. He's so real
A
and
cool,
so genuine.
cool dude. Yeah.
He's always been that person, and I just love him. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys, because man, he's a survivor on so many levels.
Oh my
And
gosh.
a
And he is
legend.
proof right there that if you just don't give up,
Don't
never
quit.
give up. Just keep
Yeah.
going forward. Because 3 times on Survivor, he played Amazing Race. Years he battled cancer, but he never stopped.
Right.
That's
And he's an
so
inventor,
impressive. Yeah,
apparently.
I love
That's so
it.
cool. I know
I
you got to
love
go
it.
get the Crunch Bowl. What was it called? Crunch
The
Bowl.
Crunch Bowl.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I need a new old school Survivor shirt because I am
Yeah.
old school.
Yeah, me too. This is what he gave me last time. It's old school reality. I'm wearing a shirt if you're not watching. It's called old school reality because when we went to help him with the grassroots soccer in San Diego, it wasn't just Survivor. There was an amazing race and a bunch
I
of
like
different,
that.
so it was fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
how
Well,
fun.
anyway, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us today, for
Yes.
listening to Ethan's story. Ugh, I know you're inspired. We all are right now. I'm kind of like starstruck. Like, wow.
Right?
What a
I'm a little fanboy myself. And definitely go check out his shirts and his Crunch Bowl. Like you can
Yeah.
order these shirts.
Yeah, you can support him, support grassroots soccer. We'll put the links in the show notes. And then, yeah, if you want to leave us a message or if you want to, I don't know, give us an email, beyondthetorch@gmail.com, send us something, a DM on social media. We're on TikTok, which is a kind of a small account. I'm trying to build that. I don't know. TikTok's
I
so
don't know
weird
how
for
to
me.
do TikTok.
Yeah. Todd's not really into this kind of stuff.
I don't know how to do it. I know Instagram. I know Instagram and Facebook. I'm
Yeah, yeah,
on
yeah.
TikTok, but I've never made a video. I'll just repost things.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe I can send you the videos for this and you can post those. But
Like, yeah.
yes, reach out to us. We love to hear from you. It's not just about the survivors, guys. It's about you too. It's about what this show has done for all of us. Let's celebrate, man. Almost at 50. Unbelievable.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Absolutely.
Have a great day, guys. And we will see you next week right here on Beyond the Torch.
Bye.